Welcome to Same Script, Different Cast, Cut to Act 1. You are with me, Seen It.
I think it.
And I'm going to talk about The Outsider. This is episode 5, entitled The Tear Drinker. The episode starts off with Jack, and he has some sort of, the Coco at this time is giving him horrible migraines that make him fall to the ground, and Jack is asking, "You don't like this lamp?" I don't get the deal about the lamp. How can they see they can't plug it up? Or maybe they're taking the lamp to their new site. Maybe I can't even speculate. I have no idea what they're doing with the lamp and the sleeping bags or whatever. So while in Cherokee City, the shapeshifter hooded figure appears to Ralph's wife, Jeannie. She walks into the dining room, she drops her glass, and it's like she's put into a trance because as she's walking, she steps on the glass. It's cutting her feet, but she doesn't flinch or anything. He tells her to have a seat. So she sits down. The shapeshifter tells her, your husband needs to stop. No, it was real deep and muffled. Your husband needs to stop or something. Or he will die. You both will die. And so the next day, Ralph sees the glass on the floor and he sees the blood. He follows the prints back into the bed and sees Jeannie. He pulls up the covers and her feet are still bloody with the glass. And so they talk about it. She apparently used to sleepwalk after their son died the year before because of the medicine that she was on. And so Ralph is just saying, well, maybe you're still sleepwalking. So kind of tells her that what she saw, because she does confess to him that she saw this man and he needs to stop the investigation. And she basically tells him that there was a man in the house. And he's saying, well, how would they even get in here? Well, he tries to convince her that it was a nightmare, but she knows. She knows she was up. She knows he was sitting in the chair, threatened her life and Ralph. Jeannie ends up drawing a picture of what she saw and she gives it to Ralph. When you see the picture, it is similar to what the van thief, the kid, drew in, I think it was last week's episode, when the kid came to confess that he felt weird about the van and everything. Yeah, I think it was last week. Very similar. And it's Jeannie that brings up to Ralph the face, as far as the melty face that Jessa said that she saw to the man that came to her. And again, Ralph kind of brushes it to the side, saying she's a 6-year-old who's been through a lot. She suffered a great loss. So through this whole time, Ralph is like, no, there's a logical explanation for everything that's happening. He is not even remotely entertaining anything supernatural happening. Back in Dayton, Holly asked the bartender of the hotel, since she's familiar with the area, to drive her around. After talking to the bartender about this soul-sucking entity or person or it, they talk about where would something like that go to see more grief, anguish, and feel pain. The bartender initially said, a funeral home, but ends up saying a cemetery. And so then at that point, Holly theorizes that the shapeshifter is killing the children and visits the cemeteries, or is in that type of an environment to feed on the grief more. The bartender takes Holly around and they actually go to Heath Hofstetter, his cemetery, also the victims, the 2 little girls, the sisters. And when she goes there, she finds dilapidated buildings nearby and she photographs them. One building, it looked like maybe it was some sort of factory or something. And so she takes pictures of the buildings and also the area of the cemetery. While she's at Heath Hofstetter's site, she meets a guy named Tracy. She says that Heath was a friend and she just is coming by just to see his grave. And Tracy says he fucked him over good. And me too. Holly is asking, well, what do you mean by that? And he keeps walking and she's taking pictures of him as he walks away. So shortly after that, Holly contacts Ralph and she asks him to take photographs around Terry's grave, just to see maybe there's something in the area that this entity or something could stay or hide out.
Okay, so tell me what I'm looking at.
Looking for
Looking for. What am I looking for?
hiding places.
For who?
Could be a who, more likely a what.
So Ralph ends up going to the site. His wife Jeannie's with him, as well as Glory Maitland and the attorney, and also Eunice. So they're out there. Ralph is taking the pictures. Eunice notices that that's the barn where the clothes were found from Terry Maitland. Because of everything that Holly has found so far, she tells Ralph that she needs to debrief everyone in person. But she says she is not flying again, and so she says that she's going to drive back, but then her car breaks down. That night before, her friend Andy, which I don't believe I've mentioned him before, but he was the mall security officer who she talked to probably back on the 3rd episode, because that is where the van was parked. He's kind of been helping her, and they have this sort of flirtatious relationship going on now. She's left. He spent the night there at the hotel. As he's getting ready and prepared to leave, he sees some notes, and it's the names of Maria, Heath, and Terry Maitland, and a little bit of notes on the side, and he takes that with him. He used to be a detective, so he has police experience and police work. Back in Cherokee City, we continue to see Jack being terrorized by the shapeshifter, or this I can't even call it a shapeshifter yet, because we haven't seen this entity as far as what Jack is seeing. We just see the after effects of him being tortured by whatever this is.
What is happening to me?
Jack actually offers to help Ralph with this case.
If you give me a chance to come on board, I'll show you what an asset I can be.
I don't know if that's because that's what the entity is telling him to do, or because he's so confused about what's going on with him and this entity and everything on the back of his neck, and he just genuinely wants to learn more. That's why he could be wanting to be a part of this case. What better way to find out about what's going on than to be a part of this case, be on the inside, and maybe he could stop whatever's going on. Tracy, the young man that Holly encountered at the cemetery, who was a friend of some sort to Heath Hofstetter, he commits suicide by cop. He actually had an unloaded gun, was pointing it to someone as a hostage, raised his gun like he's going to shoot a police officer, and that's how he died. At the end of the episode, the cops see the back of his neck, and they're like, what in the hell is that? So they see the pus-filled, the blemishes on the back of his neck. And so that's going to be it. I don't have a lot of questions after this one, but it'll be interesting to see how Holly explains.
Heath Hofstetter never laid a hand on those girls, and Terry Maitland didn't go near that boy.
All right, thank you so much for joining me. See ya.